can't see, I'm waving my hand.
Right.
Sorry. Hello, welcome back to our podcast, Raised to Obey. Here's Jennifer.
And Yvonne, and we were having a moment before we started recording anyways, so
Thank
that's
you
the,
for,
that's the silence.
Thanks for joining us today. We are on episode
19.
And we were talking, because that's my favorite number.
Yep.
So we were just talking about,
We're
what's your favorite number? What's your lucky number? I don't know. We just started,
lucky numbers, and
so
I like all numbers that are uneven. Yeah, so.
But anyway, I was like, 19's my favorite number in this episode we're on. So anyways,
Yeah, and we actually, so we do try to actually come up with topics ahead of time. And we don't always stick to them. Some days we're just like, let's start talking about blah, blah, blah. And,
sometimes we just start recording because
sometimes we just start recording.
We get into conversation. I'm like, girl, press record.
Right. And, so we have a list here that we actually wrote. I don't even know when we wrote this list, but it's been several weeks now.
Yeah, you sent me that a couple weeks ago. Well, last month, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. And so the topic that we decided on just happened to be the topic that we wrote down for this numbered episode. Yeah. So I don't believe in coincidences.
So I say that's meant to be.
It was meant to be. I think coincidences are very far and few between.
I know you think that. I don't know. So a lot of people think that. But what was that? What was it? We were thinking. What was it? What we're actually calling? Anyways, the grief we didn't expect.
Right. Right. So we
about the what did it say? I mean about the childhood we didn't have.
Right. Right. We started talking about what our childhood was like. You mentioned working with your inner child, and some people thinking, I had a really great childhood until they start working with their inner child.
Well, that's what is said too. They were like, everybody thinks they had a great childhood. Most of them are like, yeah, my childhood was good, and that's what exactly like what they say when you start working with your inner child, you know. And I was like, my childhood, I had a great childhood, until you start doing the inner child work, and you're like, oh, okay, maybe I didn't.
Maybe it wasn't that good after all.
And you're in this belief that you did, because that's also probably a way of protecting yourself.
Yeah, definitely.
Or when you see other households, if you go to your friend's house and it's different there, and you're like, yeah, but this is how it is at my house, you know, like, and so I was saying too, I'm like, damn, now I have to like actually go back and think about my childhood.
Right.
Am I grieving for a childhood that I never had? And I know I said, girl, I'm gonna start crying. I was already crying in the car on the way here. The tears are actually there, because it's just like, I just feel like I never got that approval from my mom that I wanted. I always felt like I was trying to, whatever I was trying to do, I was trying to get her to say, yeah, you did good, or I love you, or I'm proud of you. Those are things I never heard from my mom. I did hear them often from my father.
Yeah.
But it's just one of those things. I always felt like I was just struggling with that, like. And why are we trying to struggle for approval from our parents? You know what I mean?
Right.
But that's just like, that's something that it's in our child, in our, you know, we wanna
I was gonna say
please our parents.
Yeah, it's in our DNA somehow. You know. I know. I mean, we've already talked about this on the podcast. I could sing a lead. I could sing a song. Oh my God, that was so German. Sorry. I could sing a song about wanting approval from your mother and not getting it, right? Oh my God, that was shit, right? So I know when my child was growing up, it was really important for me to always tell him, I'm really proud of you. That was really good. You're doing a great job. Yeah. Especially once he started his apprenticeship, right? When he started learning his trade. So how it went down for him, just to go off on a small tangent, is he went to school till the 10th grade, which is here it's called Realschule. It's the equivalent of our high school in the States,
Not
right?
not mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But a high school
The
diploma.
tissues are coming out.
I know the tissues are already coming out for those of you at home. I don't know why the hell I put on mascara today. Anyway, so after that, he so his goal, his dream was to work for Mercedes Benz. And
for all of you who are not here in Germany, we live in an area where there's a big Mercedes-Benz plant.
Right.
They make the engines and parts for the
and
buses.
also the buses. Right.
Here in Germany.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
a really great place to work if you can get in there. You get really good pay.
Yeah,
I mean, you
really
work
good benefits.
shifts, but not in all departments. There's different departments. My daughter's boyfriend also works there.
Right.
And you can really make some good money. So a lot of people kind of want to get into the
right.
Yeah.
Right. And so when he graduated school, I'll say high school in quotation marks, he applied. And he didn't get accepted, even though he had good grades, but he didn't get accepted. And so he had been going to a tutorer for 2 years, and she had connections to people that worked at the plant. And so she helped him get a year-long, you have to help me with this word, practicum?
Apprenticeship?
Yeah, but it's not a paid apprenticeship. I mean, they do get. Well, he did get paid a little bit.
Because a practicum. Anyway, I mean, it's optional if they pay you, but it is a sort of type of apprenticeship.
Right. He did get paid a little bit, but not like a normal
yeah.
apprenticeship where they go and finish the job, right? Mm-hmm. Or they learn the trade or whatever. Anyway, so she helped him get into that, and I was like, dude, you're wasting a year. You could have already applied somewhere else and got in and started learning your trade. And he was like, no, I want this. I want to work here. I'm gonna do this. And so I was like, all right, if that's what you want, then I'll support you, you know. But when the year's up and they don't accept you again, you gotta have a plan B. You know, you need to, you know, get in somewhere else. So he did that, and after the year, he was accepted, and so he has learned his trade. He has worked there now for, I think, 2 years. He's getting ready to start his
bachelor's, like kind of
Meister.
Yeah, a master in the whatever,
in the art of what the trade he learned to do.
Yeah.
So and still with Mercedes, still with the thinking that he's gotten into doing like some quality service, which is really good because that's more what he wants to go into. Or he's found his niche, if you will, like what he wants to do. And so when he finished his schooling, I told him, you know, I'm really proud of you, and I'm really happy that you stuck to your guns, and, you know, did the year-long, you know, it's not even being applied to your schooling, but you were like, no, I'm going to stick to it because I want to be here.
But that still looks good on anything if you go to a job and you're like, hey, I did a year-long.
Yeah, I know, but you have to remember, my thinking is, and this is my mother's fault, if you will, you have to go to school. You have to get a degree. You have to get a job, you know? And that was, I know you and I have very different perspectives, thinking. Like, I was talking to my husband about this yesterday. Like how you are with your daughter, I could never be that way. I could not. I could not force myself to be how you are. I can't. I can't.
As for reference, my daughter.
I'm not saying what you're doing is wrong.
I know it's different.
And I wish that I had that relationship with my mom, and I understand that you doing this because that's not the relationship you had with your mother. You know what I mean? But I mean, you started.
But that
doing,
was the same way with me. You need a job, you need school. If you don't go to school, you're never going to
amount to anything.
And this and this and this, and I hated that. I hated that because it's a pressure. And I'm like, she's 16 years old, and she's gonna be she's like, what is she still doesn't even really know what she wants to do, and so maybe I'll just whatever bureaucrat hours, like working in an office job, and like she doesn't really have that like passion for something right now. And I mean, how can you with 16, 17 years, most of the time when the kids finish school, the 10th grade, you can also go on.
You can go
more schooling, but some of them stop at 10th grade, and then they can go do learn a trade, or whatever, you know. And I mean, yeah, I know we have different. Maybe I didn't know that either until now. There's like different views, but like I putting pressure on her isn't gonna help her decide any better.
I totally agree. And I'm. So the whole point of my story was...
is there a point? No, I'm just joking, girl. This is a side tangent, like squirrel, like, oh, wait a minute, let me talk about this real quick.
Exactly.
Well, coming to the point of being proud of him.
So, and I mean, the whole time, I mean, I told him what I felt when he made that decision, but then I didn't say anything else, you know? I wasn't like, even with my thinking, I was not constantly like, dude, you need it. Are you looking somewhere else? You got to have a plan B. You got to have a plan B. You got to have a, you know, I was like, no, all right. You know, I mean, it's his life. You know, his father was very supportive of him in this decision, which was surprising, but anyway, no bad karma there. And it worked out exactly the way, you know, so I told him how I felt, and he made the decision. He did it anyways. And then I saw once the year was done that he was accepted and he started his apprenticeship, you know, I was like, dude, that was exactly the right move, because he was there for a year. So he got to know all the people in the plant in his section. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So that means he already knew like the person who is there, the Meister, right? Because they're in what's called Lehrwerkstatt. That is the part of the plant where they learn their trades, right? Mm-hmm. It's not the actual plant itself. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? They do like little projects that go down into the actual plant itself, right? Mm-hmm. And so he knew he knew the people in management there. He knew like the team leader already, and you know, he knew who was there from the I don't know what it's called in English, the Betriebsrat. It's like the person from the union, the representative from the union, I guess you would call it, right? Uh-huh. So he knew all these people. So when he started learning, he already knew all of them, you know? And they were like, oh, hey, you know? So he wasn't like a new phase or anything, you know? It was just like he was actually starting then to learn his trade. Mm-hmm. So that went really good for him. And so that's why, for me, it was really important to tell him, hey, I'm really proud of you, you know. And I was like, it's good that you're so fucking hard-headed like your mother, you know, because I was always told being hard-headed was really bad and it wasn't good, and that was, you know, one of the reasons that I was such a problem child. And my son inherited this hard-headedness. I mean, his father's also very hard-headed, but he has this trait from both of us, and it turned out to be a really good thing. You know what I mean?
So in your upbringing, your mom, your hard-headedness and your, you know, of like, I want to do things, you know, trying to do things your way, was taught that was bad. Mm-hmm. But you let your son do that, and it turned out to be really good.
It turned out to be really good for him.
And like, I could see how hard that would be for you. It's trying to rewire. It's also rewiring your brain.
Yeah,
I was
definitely.
But like, I was like, yeah, this, you never amount to anything. You need this. You need this. You need. I mean, I understand you do need you need to graduate from school, because you can't really do anything unless you graduate from school.
Right.
You can here in Germany just go somewhere and start a apprenticeship if mm-hmm. somebody will accept you. They'll be like, oh, let me take a chance. I'll accept you. There are other ways to get in, but like even people are like, oh, you go, I'll work at the Aldi. you have to go to school for 3 years to be able
Right.
to work at the Aldi. It's
Mm-hmm.
not like people are like, yeah, like Aldi is a really bad
Yeah, it's
job,
not
you
like in
know.
the States, so you're like, oh, I'm just going to go work as a cashier and you can go apply and get accepted or whatever and you start working as a cashier, right? It's not like that here.
It's different. So and even working there, people like kind of look down on that, and it's like even but working there.
But I don't understand why, because they get paid fairly
they
good.
good.
You know,
I mean, well,
they get paid more than minimum wage. So
they
what
get
the
a
hell?
good pay. I'm not sure like where it is, but then you get you also get like vacation money, you get Christmas money, you get like more
Right.
than the days that you get for vacation. But
Right.
it's because they work 6 days a week,
Right.
so you have to work a Saturday
Mm-hmm.
most of the time. Although it's it's like
Right.
but like some
It's a
people are like,
trade-off.
but in the end, you actually do get paid pretty good to work there. It's
Mm-hmm.
just like, my daughter's like, yeah, I can't see myself working, stacking the shelves and working, on the cash register, like, for my
Mm-hmm.
whole life.
Right.
And some people are like, yeah, okay, cool, I'll do that. But, that wasn't, she said, I can't see myself doing that. Like,
Right.
so
Right.
we're eliminating what can you see yourself not doing.
Right.
Cool, let's eliminate what it is that you don't want to do and then maybe go from there. But yeah, like,
Mm-hmm. And I think that's really cool, because that for me growing up was not an option. Like I had like my
well, you
what
wanted
do you
to
call
be
it?
a cosmetologist or, go.
Yeah, I wanted to go to cosmetology school because I wanted to be a hairdresser.
And your mom was
Right?
like,
And
no,
my mom was like, nope.
you're going to go be an accountant. And
Right.
you're like, I don't fucking want to work with numbers, dude. I'm not even good at math. I
Yeah.
hate math or whatever. And she's
Right.
like, no, if you want to go to school and you want me to pay for it,
Exactly.
you're going to go do it and be an accountant.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, and that's like, that's not what I want to do for my kids,
Right. And
As
that was what I didn't want to do for my son either.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I didn't want to be like, now you have to do this. You know, like when he was growing up, he always talked about he wanted to be a bow engineer.
An engineer.
Yeah, an engineer, but that builds stuff, whatever.
Building
right?
engineer?
Yeah, I don't know what they're called. Anyway,
Pretty sure there's a name for it out there.
I'm sure there is too.
But I know what you're talking about.
And so to do this, you have to study. You have to go to university, right? So that was always like the plan. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so when he got to the 8th grade, he was like, yeah, I'm doing 10th grade and I'm done. And I was like, but you said you wanted to study. You said you wanted to go to university. And he was like, no, I'm sick of school, And that was actually a point where it was like the 8th grade was a very hard year. It was either you need to get on your ass and do some work, or you're going to have to repeat the 8th grade. And that for me was just like, dude, if you have to repeat it, that's it. I'm done. I'm done. Because that was how it was for me. You know what I mean? And I mean, looking back now, I think how fucking stupid, If you would have had to repeat the 8th grade, okay, what's the big deal?
But dude, my daughter repeated the 9th grade.
But see, that's what I say. Like, I see how you're raising your daughter, and I think, oh my God, if he had like then, because he's a little bit older, right?
There was other
well, he's as old as your oldest daughter, but for me at that time, I was like, dude, if you fail, I'm done, man. Yeah. And like I said, looking back, I think like, why? But I know it's because when I was growing up, I remember I failed 2 6 weeks in a row. And I wasn't able, I think I mentioned this already, I wasn't able to participate in marching band or something. Oh my God. I had like, I'm trying to think of the word, house arrest.
Yeah, you had
I was grounded. I couldn't go out anywhere. I mean, like, we lived on a farm fucking 7 miles from town. Where the fuck was I going to go anyways? I was in junior high. I didn't have a car. Where the fuck was I going to go? But anyways, I was grounded. I didn't have any telephone privileges.
Though that was the worst back in the day, though,
Yeah, I
because that was the
know.
only communication. We didn't have smartphones.
I know.
How did you
And there's like
communicate?
no email.
You
know,
saw your
like
friends at school, and then you called them on the phone, and you talked on the phone for hours.
Not
and
well. I did too, and
you got in trouble
I always
it.
got spanked for that.
I've
But
been trying to
anyways,
call for hours. It's been busy.
Yeah, and I know, and I'm like, what did you want to know? I want to know if you started dinner. Yeah, it's already done. But whatever. Yeah. So. Yeah, and then so you had to do like extra chores on the farm. Ooh, we had to work on the farm anyway, so you know, like whatever. But
I'm not into like because I got. I won't say I ever got punished for having bad grades. Mm-hmm. I don't really like unless my dad was always like, if I see that you're learning and you still get a C, I can't punish you for the not,
right.
you just like, so.
Like you tried at least or something,
I always told my daughters, please don't come home, 5 and 6, so that's a D and an F.
A D and an F, right?
Or actually 5 and 6 are Fs anyway, I think. But anyways, I was like, as long as you don't come home with, failing grades, I'm chill, but you don't have to get, A's and B's.
Right.
I'm not going to punish you for just not having a good grades.
Right.
What some parents do.
Right.
They punish their kids for not bringing home A's, and why though? Yeah. That's my thinking. I'm not gonna punish my kids for not. I don't want to say for not being intelligent or not being smart, because they are.
Right.
But what's that saying? If you judge the fish. If you judge, not judge a fish, like the intelligence of a fish, if he can climb a tree, fishes can't climb a tree.
Right.
Monkeys can climb a tree. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like then comparing a fish to climbing a tree, like his intelligence. Of course, he's gonna fail because fishes can't climb trees, but they can swim.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, why can't we let kids excel in where they excel? If it's in speech, like language, right. Or if it's in math, or if it's in other studies, Right. I got really good grades in English and language because that's where I excelled at.
Right.
I even could do science. I understood it. One of my favorite subjects. But math, fuck that shit. I fucking hate math. You know what I mean?
Right.
And if they were gonna try to judge my intelligence by how I did math, I was getting D's at the most in my math class. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because it just didn't like it, and every time those math questions. If Sarah had 5 apples and she gave 5, those math questions,
right?
Where I'm like, excuse me, what? Waffles and what? And you're just like, you're in your head, like,
I know.
And I was so confused.
I always hated those. The word problems is what they're called.
Oh, and
right?
I hated those, and I'm like, what is this gonna teach?
A train is traveling to Frankfurt at 75 kilometers an hour. How long will it take to get there? Purple.
Yeah. Exactly. But other people, like my brother, he did really good in math,
Right.
By languages, English language and stuff wasn't really his strong suit. So we can't like encourage kids, oh, you're really great at this subject, blah, 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 but like, no, you're not, you're really great in this subject, but not math. Why? Right. Like, and then you feel like inadequate. You're stupid. I'm stupid because I can't do math. And I actually sat in my math class one day. I was in the 8th grade, and I was so frustrated that I started crying. And my teacher's like, "What's wrong?" And I'm like, I don't get it, and nobody understands it. I don't get it. Like, and she said, "Calm down." I'm like, "I'm not calming down." Like, I was like, I just like was so frustrated, and she's like, and then I actually stood up and like she told me to go outside, or can't even remember the whole fucking thing,
right.
But like I was so frustrated, I just didn't get it, and we were doing algebra, and that was for me like, this was too much,
right?
And why do I need this? Why do I need this I don't need this anymore in my life. I don't need to know algebra,
Yeah.
But like
I know, like, how old are we? And I still haven't found X, right? I haven't seen it anywhere. Like, not at the grocery store. Not when I get my paycheck. But then if you ask people, like my husband, he's like the word problems. He's like, oh, you just need to pick out the information, and I'm like, yeah, whatever, dude.
I get lost in the
I'm
words.
I pick out the information. I still never get the right answer.
And the answer is still purple, dude.
Yeah, exactly. The answer's still purple. I don't know.
Yeah. So like.
But I get what you're saying. Like, some people just have strong strengths, in certain areas, you know, like some people are like really artistic. You know,
Yeah.
they can't do speech or math for, you know, to save their lives, but they can fucking paint this huge mural, you know, and you're like, damn.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, it's just, I think it depends, like, how, you know, they say, like, you're, like, everybody is, like, left or right brain positive, or is that the right word? You know, like, stronger,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think it just depends, like, which way your brain is wired, you know? And then if you're fucked up like us, you have to figure out how to rewire your brain, you know? So.
But yeah, like getting back to you know, I feel like if a childhood that I and that's you know so that's what I'm actually trying to give my daughters.
Mm-hmm.
Is something that childhood I never had, you know,
Right.
like
Right.
um I always say so much. Even if they come home with a 6, I'm like, okay, cool, you tried. That's good. You know,
Right.
I'm not gonna be like, what the fuck, you know, like
Right.
I
That
don't.
would be me.
Yeah.
That would have been me.
I always
In the
say like
past.
how proud I am of them, and I always say how much I love them.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard when that's not something you grew up with,
Right.
and so going in and maybe one wishing I had that more of like, and my dad I always had a strong, you know, like my dad could tell me he loved me. I think I'm gonna remember how old I was until I could give my dad a kiss on the cheek or something, you know,
Mm-hmm.
or a hug, or you know, like arms and stuff, like
Right.
a touch, you know, like
Mm-hmm.
a touchy relationship, but you know,
Yeah.
physical contact.
Right.
I couldn't do that with my mom.
Mm-hmm.
Like you would try to touch her and she, you know, and that's what I did then in my relationships.
Okay.
Because I never got that from my mom.
Mm-hmm.
And I also think that's also plays an important role too, if what you get from your mother or your father,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And that was hard for me. I think I've already said that one of the podcasts too,
Mm-hmm.
of my children when they were born, and
Right.
and wanting to be on me, where it was
Mm-hmm.
so difficult at first because I was just not used for that. I wasn't used to having like cuddle time. Fuck that. And my mom would
Right.
never, like, I'm up to a certain point,
Mm-hmm.
I think, and also maybe because of what happened with
Mm-hmm.
me, and then that broke my trust with my mom, that I like
Right.
went way distanced myself from her
Mm-hmm.
to where that wasn't there anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's also a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I wish I would have had that more
Mm-hmm.
growing up, because then it would have gone into my relationships of like I said, everybody has a love language.
Right.
And the love language for my ex-husband was physical touch, and I just couldn't. Like, I'll cuddle for like 2 minutes and that's it.
You're like, then get off.
I'll go to, like, you know, my side of the couch. Yeah, because it's just, I mean, it's something that you can learn. It's something you can, but then I wasn't aware of inner child. I wasn't aware. I was just like, that's me. That's who I am, you
Right.
know? I wasn't aware of why I was like that.
Mm-hmm.
I know that now.
Right.
I could maybe possibly cuddle for 5 minutes. I think I would be a little bit more, you know, and also aware of people's love languages. I didn't know that was his love language.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Right.
and it was, and that's something he needs. He needs physical touch. He needs like cuddling. He likes to have hugs, and you know.
Right.
But I think that's also from your husband as well.
Right.
Like, and we all have different love languages,
Mm-hmm.
and when we know this from the other partner, we can give them that what they need, or, you know, compromise. Okay, you want to cuddle? I can cuddle for, like, you know, like in bed, you know, we'll cuddle, and then when I'm wanting to sleep, I'm going to my side.
Mm-hmm.
I have my blanket. Leave me the fuck alone. Don't touch me. I want to sleep. I don't know. And you know, that's just
So the German bedding is very much to your advantage, huh?
Yeah.
So for those of you that don't know, Germans have typically, everybody has their own bedding, like their own pillow, their own comforter. Very few people have, like my husband and myself, a huge comforter like
Yeah.
we have in the States. We share one huge comforter, but most Germans have like their own.
own blanket, so nobody
so
can steal the
Nobody can
motherfucking
steal the
covers.
blanket. You'd be
Yeah.
like, why you steal it? Oh, it's
A blanket
yeah,
hog. You can have your own blanket.
You have your own blanket.
I mean,
so.
it's just because it's the standard here, and you have two,
Right.
and it's also just harder to find
Yeah,
it's,
I have a hard time
finding-
finding
yeah.
bedding for my big
big
ass
comforter. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's also a factor of why I'm like, okay.
But I find them.
Yes, you do.
Sometimes even at Aldi.
Yeah.
I'm always surprised. I'm like, wow, they have like my size.
Let me buy a couple of them.
I'd always buy 2.
Yeah. But
Especially if it's the bedding that I like.
I wish
But,
maybe
yeah.
I would have maybe if,
We're gonna have to do something about that. Now you keep coming out in our videos.
guest appearance. It's a
Guest appearance.
Say hi.
I want to get a film star.
Yeah.
So maybe I feel like if that's something I would have gotten in my in my childhood.
I don't know.
Because I don't know how are you with this physical touch.
I cannot say yes because my mom was very cuddly, very touchy, very I love you.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. My dad was the one that was not touchy, cuddly, I love you up until...
So by you it was the opposite. So one of them was and one of them wasn't too.
With my dad, it was up until
your mom was the one who was physical, cuddly and
Right.
stuff. So like...
Yeah, but her physical love was dependent on your... or how we acted. So like
that's true. You
I
said that.
I
yeah,
mentioned.
Yeah.
I think I mentioned last week in the podcast.
Yeah.
Like, if I would do something that pissed her off, she would ignore me
yeah,
for like
ignore
days,
you.
weeks
Yeah.
on end. So there was no.
So her love was dependent on your of your
Right, and that's one of the reasons that for me, learning what love is. For me, was very fucked up because for me, love was dependent on how you conformed to the person that was giving you the love. You know what I mean?
And so you...
it's no wonder that I married a narcissistic asshole that was just like my mother.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So you're
getting married to him for 15 years.
So you're getting into a relationship, in an abusive relationship.
Yeah.
And also saying, okay, this is love.
Right.
Because
you didn't know any different.
Yeah.
Or I didn't know any different. And when I look back at like all my past relationships, like before I was married and whatnot, they were all somehow abusive in some form. Not physically, most of the time mentally, you know? And it was always, for me, the relationship was always dependent on how I conformed, and for me the love language was always centered, and this has to do again with my SA, was always centered around sex. You know what I mean? So yeah, but anyway, that's a different. I want to go off on a different tangent.
So I'm just going back onto my marriage, because I was some person I was probably one of the longest in a relationship with, the 12 years. Going back and looking back too, I was always trying to get his approval. Like his acknowledgement, if it was for anything. So like when I got pregnant and I gained the weight, and you know, asking him what's going on, we're not very sexual anymore. I mean, him saying in a not so very nice manner, because you know I gained 60 pounds. I mean, I lost some of it when I had the baby, you know, when my daughter was born. But you know, him saying it in a not so nice manner was also very 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 hurting.
Right.
And so I was on the journey of losing weight, but it wasn't for me, it was for him.
Right.
And when he didn't notice it, when I would be like, oh, I lost this, and I felt like it still wasn't good enough for him.
Right.
You know? And then I had to stop, and I was like, why, you know, when I stopped doing it for him and I actually started doing it just for me, I was like, this is for me now. That's when the weight really started coming up. That's when I found strength training, you know, that's when it really clicked for me. And I wasn't doing for anybody anything anymore. It was for me.
Right.
You know, but like I when in that relationship, I felt also like I was anything I was trying to do, it was like with being a kid, with my mom. I was
Right.
looking for approval from my mom, and I was trying to, you know, and it didn't matter what I did then, because if it wasn't, if I was trying to do something nice and positive, and I still wasn't getting the attention I wanted, I reverted to, okay, well, fuck you, let me run away, let me do drugs, let me do this, because I was still getting attention, but it was, you know, negative, but it was still attention. It was in the wrong way though.
Right.
And
That's interesting that you mentioned that, because I think that's the reason for me that when I get very stressed, I always revert to smoking again. You know, it's something in our psyche, something that's built in there from the trauma, that your body says, okay, my stress level is so high, we need to revert to what I know brings us down and makes us feel better. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it doesn't matter if it's like drugs or, I mean, like I've mentioned before, I haven't done cocaine in over 30 years, but when I get really, really, really stressed, I can still taste it in my mouth.
Well, there's times where I'm like, like every once in a while, dude, I could use a drink right now.
Yeah.
Like a gin and tonic or something, and knowing that I won't, you know. I mean, yeah, okay, I used to smoke weed. I mean, it's not like, I stopped doing that too. From this was recently. This was like last year.
Right.
Even before I got fired, like I was, but like I stopped because I was like, I have brain fog. It was just like, and every once in a while I'm like, hey, you know, I could, but then I saw this guy on TikTok, and he was like, he stopped drinking. He's like, it's been 3 years since I've had a drink, and I'm like, just looks like me. And he's like, so he was at a wedding. And he's like, so what helps him to not have a drink, even though, you know, he's at a wedding, he's in a party setting.
There's a lot of peer pressure.
No, not really. He just, you know, like, I want to be the life of the party. So his was like, he doesn't want the party to end, you know? And he's like, and people will be like, oh, come on, just, you know, 1 or 2 drinks. And he's like, but for me, it's not 1 or 2 drinks.
Right.
For me, it's like 2 drinks, more shots, more drinks, more shots. The party isn't ending. I'm waking up tomorrow with
go down the rabbit hole.
Exactly. So he plays out the scenario in his head. He fast forwards. Okay, when I do have this drink,
how am I gonna feel tomorrow?
Is it gonna be? So he's gonna be like, oh, I'm the life of the party. Oh, did you see John? He's blah 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 blah. But he's 2 sheets to the wind. He's out here partying, thinking he's having a good time, but everybody's kind of like, okay, you know, it's getting too much now.
Right.
You know.
Right.
And he plays the scenario on his head, so it helps him to not, you know, drink or whatever. And I think that's really cool, because that was exactly me. It wasn't that like I would drink like in the week. It wasn't like I was an alcoholic per se, and that like I had to have a drink every day. It was for me. I knew I should stop at 1 or 2 drinks, or I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm pretty tipsy right now. I should stop. And then somebody else comes with a drink. Oh, let's do some shots. And you were always down. Don't give up.
Always down for
a shot. Fuck yeah, let's get some tequila. Oh, another drink. Cool. And you, before you know it, you're 2 sheets to the wind. You're out there fucking inebriated. Can't talk. Fucking
you
thinking.
Wake up in the morning, you feel like shit. You don't even remember where you puked. You like have like this lapse of time, you know, and people are like, oh, you did, and you're like, I did?
Or you see pictures on your phone, and I'm like, who took these pictures?
I know, you're like, what?
I don't remember. Hell? What? And then they're like, your friends are like, yeah, don't you remember? And I'm like, no, I don't.
No.
And that was for me. That's why I was like, I don't drink, because I can't just have 1 or 2.
Exactly.
And there are people that just can't. They just can't have 1 or 2. And there's those people out there. They're like, I drink occasionally. Like your husband, he'll have 1 or 2, and that's it.
Yeah.
Or he'll drink like what's else?
Limoncello.
Yeah. And
he had one yesterday, and there was because we were ate Italian, right? And she was like, all around limoncello, and I was like, nah. Not because, I mean, you only have the one, right? But I was like, no, no.
And I don't know what that also comes from. People are like, yeah, is that really hereditary? Like, hereditary? Is that the word I'm looking for?
I'm not sure.
Like passed down alcoholism. But it's not even alcoholism. It's what's sucht? Addiction.
Yeah.
An addiction.
This is I have the word on the tip of my tongue. Yeah,
It's an addiction. It doesn't have to be drugs. It can be sex. It can be gambling. It can be shopping. It can be drugs. Sugar. It can be anything. And
Right.
that's actually so my great grandma, my grandma, my father, they're all alcoholics.
Really? Okay.
So it's actually it can be passed down, and it wasn't and I think that it just comes from being also in a addicted family type
Right.
if that also has a role to play in because I think I wasn't like, oh, I need a drink to there's
Right.
alcoholics
Yeah,
who's
I
like,
wasn't like that. I wasn't like, like I needed to drink because I was shaking so bad. Yeah, I wasn't like that either. But I was like you said, like, I couldn't have like just one or two drinks.
That's but I think that's also a form of alcoholism. Like if once you start, you can't stop, and you should because you're like, fuck, I'm gonna feel like shit tomorrow. You start smoking cigarettes because I haven't smoked in like cigarettes, in like 16
Yeah,
years.
that's another thing. Like I know people they're like social smokers. I can't be a social smoker. Once I start, then I start.
For you, it's like all or nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you're gonna start,
what I can do is like they have these vapes that have like no nicotine in them. I can do those, but it's because they're flavored. It's not a cigarette.
So that's
what I mean.
That's what
so I can do like a vape
that
every once in a while.
Yeah.
I have my vape in my motorcycle bag.
Something you like to do on your motorcycle.
Yeah, because it's something that but I haven't vaped since when we were on our motorcycle trip in May. I think I vaped like once or twice.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it was just like I wasn't feeling it. Yeah. So that's the vape with no nicotine in it. It's not something for me that I'm just like, oh, yeah, I gotta have it. I can't put it down. That's no. But like I said, like a social smoker, I think people that are social smokers, I don't understand how their brain's wired.
Or they just smoke when they drink.
Yeah, or that. Yeah, they smoke when they. That's basically
coming to the social smokers because most of the time
they're drinking, right?
Yeah, or people say I'm a social drinker, so they don't drink alone at home. They just drink when
on the
in company
or a party or And so we have this wedding coming up that we're going to, and I'm already thinking about.
Smoking?
Alcohol, because I know there's gonna be a lot of alcohol there.
I'm gonna say at first, and maybe it was.
And I'm like,
yeah.
I know I'm gonna have to do a couple witchy rituals before I go to probably carry like all my crystals in my bra. They'd be like, wow, your boobs are really big. And I'm like, yeah, it's all crystals. Do you have a boob job? No,
maybe we should we should patent a bra that you can put all your crystals in.
Oh, that's a
good
idea.
Put it like
have like all the pockets under here, and then it'll like push your boobs up.
Somebody fucking do that shit. It's I'm gonna patent that shit right now. Well, why not?
Right?
But you didn't like put in your pockets or and wear. You didn't need a necklace like you're gonna have a neck and it's gonna weigh. Because you're wearing your necklace like.
You look like the Queen of England with all the fucking like. Look like those. What is it in Ethiopia or where is that? There's this one tribe.
They would have been
like the rings around and stretch their.
And
necks.
if they take it off, they'd actually probably like crack their neck and die because they stretched down.
Yeah,
that's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's like, I think it's crazy also in different cultures what sexy is and that's for them when they're stretching their neck because that's what the
like
men
really sexy.
It's like that's a woman that's that's crazy like if I don't so always going off on a little bit like of a side street.
A few tangents, exactly.
So I don't know. Going back to if I'm grieving a childhood I never had.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's a hard question to answer because if you never had.
Yeah, it's hard because we don't know what a normal childhood is.
Well, I mean,
was when we were
I can say,
up,
but like, so my best friend back in the day, her parents were like, she had almost as kind of the same household as me. So that's what, when we lived in California, I do remember having a friend. I don't remember, her name was Nicole, I think, and going over to her house, knowing like her family had a little bit more money than ours. And also like, okay, that's a different, like her mom like coming in and asking us if we wanted something to drink or something to eat, you know. My mom never did that shit. Like if I had friends over, so like so back in the day, my best friend, my mom was a little tipsy. She came home and she came in the basement. We were chilling and she's like, oh, my best friend's name, I don't know the names. Like, oh, blah, blah, la, 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 la. And then she, you know, she left and my friend's like, dude, I thought your mom hated me. Because she never really talked to my friends, you know?
Right.
And she's like, that's the first time your mom like, really like spoke to me. And like, she was like, like where she would, you know, kind of like where my friend, she was, I was like, I don't know. She was a little tipsy. And I think it was the first time I ever seen my mom like tipsy. Like my mom was so composed, no emotions, you know? And that was what was hard for me also growing up, I think. Maybe. So thinking about if that's something I would grieve in my childhood, that I was, you know, wasn't allowed to feel my emotions, you know. Stop crying, I'll give you something to cry about.
Right.
Well, I'm freaking like, you know, I let my daughters cry, let it cry, you know. It took me so long, and this is like, let's say like 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago now, where I've actually started, you know, I had to get to feel my emotions, cry, feel it.
Right.
It's perfectly fine to feel. It's not like. And it's not like you're going to dwell in that emotion. It's not going to let you bring it down, you know? I mean, that's also, like, whoa. Like, if I would cry when I was younger, I would cry, but there would not be a sound coming out of me. There was no sound, just tears falling down my eyes and laying in my bed. I wouldn't even, like, or anything. It was just tears falling down.
Right.
And then you, like, you know, I mean, like, and okay, you know, let's go.
Moving on.
Yeah, exactly, by the gate. Moving on.
Yeah.
You know, like, I mean, now, if I'm gonna say it's different, but now I know what feeling I'm feeling. I didn't know back in the day why I was crying.
Right.
Am I mad? Am I angry? Am I frustrated? Am I sad? What the fuck's going on? I don't know. Okay, you know, to be like, to actually acknowledge what emotion it is you're having.
Right.
I'm freaking super sad, you know? Like, my grandma passed away, you know?
Right.
Like, when I first heard the news, I was like, okay, you know? And now, when she actually did, and I went and started looking at pictures and, like, you know, remembering the life of my grandma and, like, you know, like, it's okay to be sad, you know?
Yeah,
somebody passed away. My grandma was an amazing woman. And it's super sad that she's passed away, and I know that my mom's also sad. You know, her mother passed away, but you wouldn't. Like, she sent me a message, and you could tell she was kind of emotional, and then she ended it, and that was it. You know what I mean?
Right.
She's still like that, and I'm like. And I'm 48 years old, and I still sometimes I'm like, okay, like, I let my mom know I couldn't come back from my grandma's funeral, and then I maybe, you know, I don't know if that upset her, if she's like okay with that, you know, I understand anything. And my sister makes an excuse for her, well, she's really busy. Okay, cool, but, you know, it actually, funeral has passed, everything's, you know, kind of died down. I still haven't heard from her. Like, okay, honey, that's okay. I understand why you can't come.
Right.
You know, I live in Germany. I have a kid. I have other, you know, responsibilities that last year when my father passed, I was able to go back because I was working and they handled everything.
Right.
I'm like, hey, I gotta go, bye. And they're like, okay, cool, chill, you know.
Right.
Like, we'll handle everything. We'll find somebody to take over your classes. We'll wipe your schedule out, you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
And that was super, like, cool because I didn't have to deal with that. And I have to, I'm like, okay, well, now I have to find somebody to watch my daughter. I have to find somebody to take over my class. Is it in then like 3 days, you know, I have to leave. And I'm still over here, like, it still gets to me, like, just a tiny little bit that I still didn't get, like, it's okay, honey, I understand why you can't come.
Right.
Or even you know,
I get it.
Like, even to be like, you know, okay, but like, nothing, like, and I'm like,
I get it.
I'm like,
the same with my mom, you know. when I sent her the email,
Yeah.
you know, telling her that, you know,
I got it. Hold on. I want to get this out because this is something I sent, and I can't remember if I sent you on Instagram or not, or TikTok. I can't remember. I'm gonna go back and I want to read this. Where are you? Or maybe it was on Facebook. You can go ahead and keep talking. I'm gonna find
so
this.
what I was saying was, yeah. So I sent her the email, right, telling her basically that I couldn't forgive her actions, because she still has contact with my abuser, and the only response I got back was, "Can you send me the email again? I deleted it accidentally."
Yeah.
Right.
I know I sent it to you.
You know, there
Yeah.
was not there was no you're right, I was wrong, I'm sorry, fuck you, nothing. You know, nothing. That was the only response to that email that I wrote, you know. And I did mention that she on Memorial's Day did send me a text wishing me happy Memorial's Day, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, that was it, you know. Yeah.
Unless I keep going through this.
No other response at all.
Yeah.
So I understand how you feel there, you know, that you're just like, you have no idea what's going on. And I mean, I know we've talked about this before. My mom is a very, very narcissistic person. And you see, like, I'll post something on Facebook every once in a while, like,
I can't find it. Yeah. Sorry.
Like something to the effect of, there's always two sides to every story, and I know the other side is being falsely told or something like that, because I know how she is, and I know that anybody that will listen or ask her about it, her side of the story is that I broke off contact with her, and I'm such an ungrateful daughter, and, you know, things to that effect. And since I have relatives on my Facebook page, that's why I kind of, like, you know, every once in a while, you know, because I mean, I'm not going to go and tell the whole family what happened, but you know, I know that her side of the story is being told, and nobody's asking what's my side of the story. You know what I mean?
But if people, I'm also to the, it's like.
But that's just how narcissistic she is, because it's all about her, and it's all about how she's been hurt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I think I mentioned, my sister said she called our mom, and my mom's response was, "Well, at least one of my daughters is talking to me." Like, what the fuck? You know?
Yeah.
It's not that I'm not talking to you. It's that I said I'm not talking to you until you apologize for what you did.
And she doesn't think she did anything.
And she doesn't think she did anything wrong. Exactly.
And you can't change that. That's just something, it's in her. It's her, in her freaking crazy head.
Fucked up mind.
She thinks that she's not doing anything wrong because it's her brother. Because it's family. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but how fucked up is
that? I know, you can't change that, and you just are never gonna know why the fuck she's thinking the way she's thinking. Thinking that on any other.
Now I feel like Amy from The Big Bang Theory. I'd like to cut open your brain.
Yeah.
And see what's going on in there.
How she said that to Rosh all the time.
Right.
I really
or
like
to Penny.
I really like to know what's going on in your brain. Like, I really like to cut open it. It's just something, you know. But you're never gonna understand. Like, it doesn't. Yeah, I'm your daughter, and you know, it's right. But I just like I'm like fucking sure that I sent it to you, and it was like going back and forth between like, yeah, but you know, it was about your relationship with your parents. And like how pretty much you don't owe your parents anything because they birthed you. Right. You know what I mean? It was their decision to have a baby. It was their decision to have kids. It wasn't, and it's not like if your parents are a narcissist or whatever it is, abusive, you don't owe them just because you birthed me. Right. I don't owe you shit. You know what I mean? And that's also another thing that I had posted, my kids don't owe me anything.
Right.
Um,
This is something that I saved yesterday, and what you said just reminded me of that. I'm trying to translate it to English now. So basically, what it says is, "Du hast als Kind nicht gelernt, was as a child, you didn't learn what love was.
Yeah, yeah.
You learn what you have to do to receive love. You know."
But
And
like it was
when
like,
I read that, I was like, yeah, because talking about narcissistic parents,
yeah.
you know, yeah.
But like I was like, my kids don't owe me grandkids. My kids don't owe me. They taking care of me when I get old.
Mm-hmm.
There's something that, of course, when they want to, that's nice.
Mm-hmm.
I see people all the time. I have to take care of my mom now. She, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and then they're like totally freaking, you know, overwhelmed,
Right.
out of capacity. You know, like they don't even have, like, and they're like, because they feel like it's something they have to do.
Right.
Well, my mom took care of me. I have to take care of my mom.
Mm-hmm.
When there's people out there that don't have any kids at all,
Right.
who's taking care of them. But anyways, like, man, I think it went on to say, like, it doesn't, you know, if they felt loved and wanted, that's enough for me.
Yeah,
you know,
definitely.
I don't. There's you know, there's also parents out there that are like, where's my grandkids? Why am I having any grandkids?
Right.
Why aren't you married? You know, and you're like,
Right.
I don't want. Maybe I don't want to have kids. I mean,
Right.
so I know I have some, but you know, there might be people
Right,
out there
there are
that are like,
people that-
sorry, but I don't
Yeah,
want to have
I mean,
kids.
like
This cat, this dog, that's your grandkid, you know?
yeah,
And they-
exactly.
And they're like, what? No, you owe me grandkids. Yo, that's my body.
Right.
That's my money. That's my life. This is my, you know, whatever.
Exactly. I
I
know
don't owe
my
you.
my son has always said, since he started working for Mercedes-Benz, Mom, one day I'm going to buy you your dream car,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And I'm like, you don't need to buy me my dream car. For me, and especially now that I have worked on myself so much, and of course I'm probably going to be working on myself till I die, but
Oh yeah, it's a lifelong process.
It's a lifelong process.
Well, when you figure it out and you want to,
Yeah.
yeah.
And for me, now what I tell him is, you don't need to buy me my dream car. For me, what's important is that,
I want grandkids.
Yeah, no. I'm like,
Just
pay for
joking.
my tummy tuck.
Yeah.
No.
I want some
cheaper.
boobs.
I want boobs and not, you know, that they don't hang.
Well, I mean,
but
and now
anyway.
you don't have them, but you know, you want them to be
perky, like they were before I had you. But anyway,
exactly.
no, what I tell him is, for me, what's important is that he's healthy, that he's happy, you know, and the rest, it'll fall into place like he wants.
But that's
it to,
something
you
for
know?
me.
I'm
That's
like, I'm the one, you know, I'm over here going, you know, because him and his girlfriend are talking about they want to get married in a few years, and I'm like, yeah, maybe you should, like, you know, wait a little bit, and I'm too young to be a grandma, and even though I'm a step grandma, but
that's different. I
but
think,
still,
'cause he's
you
like,
know,
I want to
and,
do that
you know,
for
and
you.
he's like, yeah, and I mean, I think it's really nice, you know, but I keep telling him I don't need my dream car.
But you're not over here
You
like,
know?
oh, what, son? You have a
Yeah,
really good
I'm
job
not
now.
like,
Where's
you
my,
know,
where's, you know,
expecting,
give me.
like, where is, you know, and I don't expect that in my old age that he needs to look after me, you know. In fact, I've already told him, if you got to put me in a home, make sure it's near a park, because I got to be near some trees and foresty stuff, you know, so I can go for a walk. Water would be good, like a pond, you know, so I can see some ducks and some
Exactly.
animals.
That's good. That's a
I'm
good
like, and
idea.
there has to be a good coffee shop,
Yeah.
like around the corner, that, you know, I can walk to. With,
Well, make
you
sure
you know,
wherever it is you're going, because I'm gonna be
exactly,
there
we'll
too.
be there too. But
So
yeah,
make sure
I
he
mean,
gets you in a good.
yeah, put me in a good home. Yeah.
Fuck, I'm gonna make my own retirement like community and shit.
Yeah. Well, so my husband has always said that he had a dream when he was very young that he was gonna die when he was 87,
Oh.
and he holds very steadfast to that. He is only gonna live until he's 87.
So I would be like, okay, cool,
And I'm
because
like,
there's still
okay,
time.
so I'm like
Yeah.
4.5 years younger than you. I probably won't be dead by then.
No,
so,
you won't. Women
you know,
outlive men.
yeah, usually. Yeah.
Wow, you're a healthy girl. There's
So,
nothing. You're not like. You're not.
Yeah, I'm like, we'll be turning this house into our own retirement home.
Well, I mean,
You know?
there are. I mean, there's also like retirement communities,
Right.
but there's also retirement homes where if you have to be watched, or
Right.
if it's a community where you can live on your own, but there are other, because
Right.
like, but like
Yeah, but those are expensive here, man.
that's what I want to make. It would be cool to be able to make a community
Yeah.
for women.
Dude,
Or men
there is actually, now that you mention that, I won't go off on a totally different tangent. I saw a video, it was like a little documentary. There is a woman in the States.
In Texas, I think.
Have you seen that?
Yeah.
Where she made like her own trailer park and it's
Yeah.
only for women.
Women.
I think that's really cool, man.
And they have like a trailer the trailer community trailer.
Right.
And they have like a lawn.
Some of them have like tiny homes.
They're really
there,
tiny.
You know?
Like there's like a bed. There's like a little kitchen.
Right.
And pretty much the essentials.
And then they have
of what
like
you
a
need.
big community trailer home where they can like share and hang out
and this
that's
is
really
also
cool.
women in the retirement, pretty much.
Right. Yeah, they're all I think retired and.
But this, that's what I
Yeah.
mean though, something like that. But also like maybe if you not hire, but like here where you have those mobile pflegedienst, maybe somebody might come in and I mean they're all
they have like
they're
home
self-sufficient.
health,
They're self-sufficient. But even if you're getting older. I don't know. I don't know. Like I don't like. I say like I want to. If I'm gonna live to be an older age, if I'm gonna be like 92, I want to be. I want to be healthy 92. And
right.
Not,
Yeah.
like,
Definitely. I want to be able to move around and go out on walks and I might have to drive to like where it's flatter.
Getting up there with our walkers.
Exactly.
Hey, by then
get
we'll
out
have
of
our walkers with
cane.
an e-roller walker. That's
there
gonna
you
help
go.
you like get up the hill. Something. Yeah. Oh, okay. We're like at an hour.
Oh yeah, we're right at an hour. Good.
So I don't know. I don't know any other childhood to know if my child. I do.
Yeah,
like
there's
I said.
well, and I know from my side, I can't compare to my friends because, I never had friends over to our house because we didn't live in town, and I never went to friends from my houses because we didn't live in town.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So I can't really. I mean, I saw my friends at school, and at school it seemed like everybody
has a good life.
Had a good life. I mean, there were a couple people. Like the people that were like really really. He's here in the garage.
Oh, it's a motor. I'm like, what's
It's a
going
motorcycle.
on? World, what the fuck?
Like you always had like the people in your school where they were like really, really, really poor, like dirt poor, and you knew that they were dirt poor, but you didn't really have any idea like what was going on. I mean, they could have been like the happiest kids. They could have had like the best childhood, because the parents were like, well, we're dirt poor, but we're gonna give the kids the best childhood that we could, whatever.
So like they had maybe not a lot of money, but they had like supportive people.
I mean, they could have had like the best parents in the world. Where when I was growing up, we didn't have money problems. I mean, if you ask my parents, of course, it was there was always money problems, but as far as how we grew up, there was like we didn't want for anything, basically. You know what I mean? I mean, we didn't get everything, but we didn't want for anything either. And then too, we had to work.
Yeah.
So we got a paycheck.
Yeah.
So we had our own money to buy stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we still didn't. For my mom, that was the material stuff was supposed to be a good. I don't know, Ersetzung? Replacement.
Thank you.
For
replacement.
her love.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's why I say I cannot, just like you say, can't say what a normal childhood.
I'm pretty sure
looks
though
like.
of those couple things that I mentioned, if that would have been like maybe like the physical touch aspect of if I had gotten that from my mother, you know what I mean? Maybe I would be.
I don't know. I mean, because my mother was like I said, I mean, she was physical when she was around. You know, she would hug us and say she loved us, and I'm still like, no touchy.
Oh, I know.
No touchy. You know,
Like-
like with there's like certain people that are allowed to touch me, and the rest I'm
Yeah,
like,
but that's
back off, man.
I think that's more of a I don't know you good enough. I'm not. If I don't know you good enough, like I'm not giving you that hug. I mean, maybe even a handshake, but sometimes I'm like, you don't want to touch that person because you feel the negative energy or the vibe is off.
Yeah.
But then
Like
like
the
other
handshake, and then you see me stick my hand in my pocket. You damn well know I'm rubbing a
my
crystal.
Yeah. But see, like I was at a birthday party the other day, and that vibe was so nice. Like everybody on the tish, it was chill. It was so chill and a nice vibe. And after, I'm like, oh, I go home, and I'm like, everybody gets a hug,
Right.
Like I'll be like, I love giving hugs, but not everybody gets access to my hugs,
Right.
Because they're special. No.
Yeah. And I get one every time.
Yeah. So, of like, yeah, if I'm grieving a childhood I never have, I never had.
Right.
That's just kind of like, if you don't know any other childhood,
Yeah, I think
then
that if you don't know
it's
any
hard
difference,
to say if if you're gonna grieve something that you never had. Like, what if I think had I been happier if we had more money? Because we're struggling. There's times where we struggled because my mom was the only one working.
Right.
Supporting
The
a family of 5.
Right.
Do I think money would have made me happier? And maybe I would. I'm not even gonna say I never got anything that I wanted, because I feel like I had a car when I got to drive a car. I got my license when I was 16.
Right.
Think about when you try to do that here. The license costs 3,000 fucking euro.
Right.
The car, you need like here in Germany, you're like, oh, like, and when I was 16, at first I had to share a car with my dad.
Right.
And after a while, he was like, fuck this shit. I'm gonna get my own truck. I want a truck. So he got himself a truck,
Right.
And then I had my own car.
Right.
At 17.
Yeah.
Until I got in a crash and it totaled my car.
Right.
It wasn't my fault either, but like I feel like I had a roof over my head. I had food on the table. I had a car. I was able to put $5 in my car and fucking gas and drive.
Dude, $5 back then was a lot, man. I remember that, pumping $5 gas, and you'd be like,
the tank was full.
Yeah, then you'd be like, yeah, I can drive my car for a week now.
Exactly.
Put $5 gas now, you're like,
I can make it around the corner.
Drive around the corner to the next gas station.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So,
Yeah.
you were telling me now, about your, if you want to.
Right. So I have a very old friend, and I mean old in that we have both known each other for a very, very, very long time. We've actually known each other since
Back in the day.
91, 92, I believe.
Oh my gosh, I was a baby. No, I'm sure I wasn't. I was a toddler.
You weren't 18, I know that.
No, I wasn't.
Anyways,
I wasn't a baby, but I wasn't also, yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't a teenager yet, though.
No. Anyway.
Sorry.
Anyway, so her name is Denise Ann Willis. She's based out of San Antonio, Texas, and
San Antonio.
San
Sorry.
Antone. Exactly.
This reminds me of that song from down in San Antonio. Okay, sorry. I'm an armadillo. Amarillo by morning. George Strait.
George Strait.
Hey. Up from San Antone. Okay,
exactly.
sorry.
Anyway,
everything that I sorry, I'm going to
she's got it in her head now. So Denise is a life coach, and we still have contact. Denise has actually written a book. It's called The Book on Loving Yourself.
Check into that.
I have read it. She sent me a personalized copy when she first came out.
Oh, damn.
I have to lend it to you. Yeah,
I'll lend it to you. Yeah.
You can read it. It's a very good book.
Mm-hmm.
She also has a website. I will put it down in the link of all our on all our social media platforms, so you guys can hop over there. It's called DeniseAnnWillis.com. and she has a quiz on there that we have both taken. And we found it both very interesting.
Yes.
Because we both basically got the same score.
A little, with the same score, like percentage, and also where we have
the areas where we need work still.
Yeah. I find this quiz very interesting because she had also said for us what might be in some areas where we have already worked on.
We've already worked on, exactly.
But it's also nice to know that there's an area that I need to work on.
Right.
And it's nice to know. So
exactly.
Then we'll be,
we'll be working on that.
The knowledge of, that I need, this is an area that I need to work on. So that's why I find the quiz to be, there's like, I think there was 2 areas where I got like 100%. So I'm like, okay, you know, those areas are good to go. You're locked down on that area. But the other one was like, was of the relationships.
Relationship recovery.
Yes.
I think. And boundaries.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah.
Where I thought, actually, I think
I thought I would too. I was like, I'm solid on boundaries, but then I was like, I didn't get 100%. So okay, we'll work on that.
Yeah. So,
Zo.
German, right?
Sorry.
Hey, when you live somewhere for 24 years.
I know.
But yeah, that's why this quiz, I thought it's not like an eye opener. Oh my gosh, but like a little.
I think it was good for us just to see like where we're at.
Like I know that I'm working like on myself
journey.
And the self, this journey of working on yourself and like. To say it's a lifelong process. It's not like, let me work on this relationship recovery and then I'm done for life,
Right. That would be nice. That would be like losing weight. Like, I'm going to lose 10 kilos and, by the end of the week. And then they're like gone forever. That would be nice.
Yeah. But that's a lifestyle.
But this is also... I got to keep fucking with the same 10 kilos, man.
Yeah.
Like till I die.
But I mean, thinking about like also in this weight loss sense, working on yourself and the spiritual journey, is a lifestyle.
Yeah, definitely.
Also,
definitely.
Yeah. So yes, go check out Denise.
Genau.
That quiz was like I said, a little look into what I need to work on still. And like I said, I'm not out here being like I'm fucking healed and I don't need to work on myself because those are the people.
Let me help with it. You're healed in the name of Jesus.
And I think those are the people who still need to work on them. If you think
you're 100% good and you have no issues, then you're probably the one that needs the most work. Because none of us are perfect, and especially those of us that have suffered some kind of trauma. It doesn't matter if it was sexual abuse or physical abuse or mental abuse, any kind of abuse.
Trauma, yes. But it doesn't have to be childhood trauma. It can be trauma from...
it could be in your teenage years. It could have happened in your adult years. Any kind of trauma. If you've not dealt with it, then... you have to start dealing with it at some point. And I speak from my own personal point of view because I always said, I'm good. Right? Till that one day came and I had like the first panic attack and I was like, what the fuck?
Okay, maybe I'm not good. Yeah. So, yes, please go check out Denise. Everything will be listed in the...
I'll put everything on the comment boxes. And as always, thank you for listening. We appreciate your support.
Yes, very much.
We welcome any and all comments.
Yes.
And if you have a similar story... let us know about it. We will probably mention it in a future episode, but everything stays anonymous. We won't mention your names or we're just looking for people like Denise and like us, like-minded, that are on the same road to healing and on the same path.
Yes.
Right?
Okay, thanks for listening.
See you next week. Bye.
Bye-bye.